The cold air bit into his skin. The human soldier sat in the far corner of the cell, his back against the icy wall. His uniform was torn at the shoulder, stained with dirt and dried blood. A dim greenish light filled the small metal room. Somewhere, deep inside the walls, a low hum vibrated, machines working, systems running, alien voices echoing faintly through the corridors. He didn't move. Not when the footsteps came closer. Not when the metallic door hissed open. 2 alien guards stepped inside, their tall bodies casting strange shadows on the floor. Their armor gleamed under the light. Their faces were long, with sharp ridges running down the center. Their eyes, black and glossy, studied the human with a mix of curiosity and arrogance. One guard spoke in their language, a guttural sound that rolled like distant thunder. The other chuckled. They thought he didn't understand. The soldiers. Eyes moved slowly, tracking the tiny details, how the lock on the door clicked, how the guards stood, where their weapons were clipped to their belts. He had been here less than 2 hours, but he already knew the cell's dimensions, the number of steps it took for the guards to reach the far wall, and the sound the keys made when they swung against the belt. He kept his voice calm. "How long? Do you plan to keep me here?" The first guard tilted his head, clearly not expecting the human to speak. His response was short, almost mocking. "You do not ask. You only wait." The soldier let his eyes drop, pretending to accept defeat. But his mind was sharp, working quietly behind the mask of stillness. When the guards left, the door sealed with a heavy thunk. Silence returned, except for the hum of alien machinery. He leaned his head back against the wall and exhaled slowly. Somewhere above, faint footsteps echoed lighter than before. Someone else was coming. A shadow appeared at the cell window, tall and imposing. The door hissed open again, revealing a figure draped in a long black coat. The alien commander stepped inside. The commander's armor was more decorated, its surface etched with strange silver patterns. His eyes narrowed as he studied the human. "So, you are the soldier they caught on the battlefield," he said in a slow, accented voice. The soldier didn't answer right away. He simply met the alien's gaze. "And you are the one who thinks you can hold me?" The commander's mouth curled in what could have been a smile or a threat. "I don't think. I know." He paced the cell, his boots clanging against the metal floor. "Humans are small, fragile. You fight, yes, but you break easily." The soldier's lips twitched into the faintest smile. "You might be right. But sometimes, the fragile things are the ones that cut deepest." The commander's eyes hardened. He stepped closer, close enough for the soldier to smell the strange metallic scent of his armor. "You will answer our questions. And if you do not, well, let's just say our methods are not pleasant." The soldier looked up slowly, his voice low and even. "Do what you have to." For a moment, the alien studied him, as if trying to read the human's mind. Then, without another word, the commander turned and left. The door sealed shut once more. Minutes, maybe hours passed. The soldier used the time well. His eyes roamed over every inch of the cell, every shadow, every seam in the metal walls. That was when he noticed a panel near the floor, slightly darker than the rest. It had a small gap along one edge. A flaw. He shifted, testing the panel. With the tip of his boot. It moved just slightly, but it moved. His heart beat faster. A weakness. The sound of footsteps returned, heavier this time. The same 2 guards entered, carrying a tray. The alien food smelled sharp, like burnt chemicals. They slid the tray through a small slot and gave him a mocking look. The soldier picked up one of the metal utensils. It was small, flat, and oddly shaped. Not a weapon, but not useless either. "You should eat," one guard said. "You will need strength for tomorrow." The soldier raised an eyebrow. "What happens tomorrow?" The guard gave a cruel grin. "Transfer. Research facility." You will not like it." They left without another word. The soldier sat in silence, the utensil hidden in his hand. His eyes stayed fixed on the weak panel. He waited until the hum of footsteps faded. Then, he crouched low and worked the utensil into the gap. Slowly, carefully, he pried at the edge. It moved again more this time. Behind it, he saw darkness. An air cooler than the cell, faint but real, brushed against his fingers. He froze at the sound of a soft click outside the door. Footsteps again. Lighter. Slower. The door opened, and the commander returned. This time, he stood in the doorway, watching. "You are very quiet, human," he said. "Too quiet." The soldier didn't answer. His eyes met the alien's, steady and unreadable. The commander stepped inside. "You will learn that silence is not always a weapon." He leaned closer. "Because tomorrow, you will not have the chance to be silent." The soldier's lips curved into that same faint, unreadable smile. "Maybe tomorrow. You won't either." The commander paused, his gaze flicking briefly toward the corner where the panel sat, then back to the human's face. For a second, neither moved. Then, without a word, the commander turned and walked away. The door closed. Alone again, the soldier pressed his palm to the panel. This was not just a cell. This was a challenge. And he had never lost one. Somewhere deep in the prison, a clock ticked toward tomorrow. And he was ready. The soldier sat in the same corner of his cell, his back against the cold wall, eyes fixed on nothing in particular. But his mind was never still. Every sound, every shadow, every vibration in the floor was a clue. He could almost feel the prison breathing around him. Hours passed in silence until the sound of boots broke the stillness. This time, it was not the slow, heavy walk of guards. It was quicker, sharper, like someone with a purpose. The metallic door slid open with a hiss, and the alien commander stepped inside. He carried no weapon in his hands, but his presence was its own kind of threat. His black coat swayed as he walked, and the faint smell of cold metal followed him. He stopped in the middle of the cell, looking down at the human with a smirk. "You have been here for a day," the commander said, his voice deep and controlled. "Yet you sit here like you have already given up." The soldier lifted his head, slowly meeting the alien's eyes. "You'd like to believe that." The commander chuckled. "Humans, always so confident. Even when they are trapped." He tilted his head. "Do you know why you are still alive?" "Because you want something from me," the soldier replied without hesitation. The alien's smirk widened. "Good. You are not stupid. We do want something. Your ships are fast, your weapons strange, but your people, you fight in ways we cannot predict. That is why you are here." The soldier's eyes narrowed slightly. "You want to study me?" The commander leaned closer, his voice almost a whisper. "We will take you to our research facility tomorrow. There, you will give us your secrets, willingly or not." The soldier's jaw tightened. "You think you can make me talk?" "I don't think," the commander said coldly. "I know." After the commander left, 2 guards came in to deliver food. They placed the tray on the floor and lingered longer than usual. One of them tapped on the wall panel near the soldier's head, almost as if showing off that everything was solid and secure. The soldier's eyes flicked toward the motion but said nothing. "Eat," one guard ordered. The soldier picked up a piece of the alien food, examined it, and set it down again. "Not hungry." The guards exchanged a glance, one of them muttering in their own language. The soldier caught a single word: weak. They thought he didn't understand. They thought he was just a fragile creature, slowly losing his strength. They had no idea that every piece of food left untouched, every hour spent motionless, was part of his plan. Later, when the guards were gone, the soldier crouched near the corner and touched the loose panel again. He didn't open it, yet timing was everything. Instead, he examined the strange utensil he had taken from the food tray. Flat, light, but strong enough to wedge into the small gap. He tested the edges, careful not to make noise. The metal gave just enough for him to know it could be removed. Quickly, when the time was right, the hum of machinery in the walls grew louder. Somewhere nearby, heavy doors opened and closed, followed by muffled voices. The soldier moved back to his corner and sat still, letting his breathing slow. The next time the door opened, it wasn't the commander, it was a different alien officer. His armor was less decorated, but he carried a glowing tablet. He stepped inside and stared at the soldier. "You will answer some questions now," the officer said. The soldier shrugged. "Ask, what is your rank?" "Private," the soldier replied casually. The officer's eyes narrowed. "We know that is a lie." "Then why ask?" the soldier said, leaning back against the wall. The officer grunted, frustrated. "Your people fight without fear." "Why?" the soldier met his gaze. "Because we have things worth fighting for." The alien tilted his head. "Strange. You know you will not win." The soldier's lips curved into the faintest smile. "You'd be surprised." The officer stared at him for another moment before turning to leave. When the door closed again, the soldier let out a slow breath. The more they underestimated him, the easier it would be when the time came. But then something unexpected. From somewhere down the hall, there was a sudden distant clang, like metal hitting metal, followed by muffled shouting in the alien tongue. He stood up slowly, pressing his ear to the door. The sounds grew louder for a moment, then faded. Whatever happened, it was close enough to disrupt the usual pattern of the prison. Footsteps approached. Quickly, 3 sets, heavier than before. The door slid open, and the commander entered with 2 guards. "You will remain here," the commander said sharply. "Do not think this distraction will help you." The soldier raised an eyebrow. "Distraction?" The commander ignored him and barked an order to the guards in their language. They moved to the far wall and checked the panel, the very one the soldier had been studying. But they didn't touch the loose edge. They only inspected the surface, then left. The commander stayed behind for a moment. "Do you know what makes humans interesting?" he asked suddenly. The soldier tilted his head. "Enlighten me." The alien's dark eyes glinted. "It is not your strength, not your weapons. It is the way you think you can win when you have already lost." The soldier gave a faint smile. "Maybe we just see things you can't." The commander stared at him for a long moment, then left without another word. As the door closed, the soldier sat back down, but his mind was racing. Something was happening in the prison, something the aliens didn't expect. And if there was chaos, even a little, it could be the perfect opening. He reached for the utensil again, feeling its smooth edges. Tomorrow they planned to move him. But maybe tomorrow wouldn't go the way they thought. Somewhere deep inside, he felt that spark again, that quiet certainty that no matter how strong the walls, no matter how tight the lock, there was always a way out. And when it came, they wouldn't see it coming. The prison felt quieter than usual. The constant hum of machinery was still there, but the steady rhythm of boots in the hallway had changed. The soldier noticed it right away, less frequent, less predictable. Something was different tonight. He sat in the corner, his head down, looking like a man too tired to care. But his eyes were on the floor, tracing the faint reflection of light that came from under the cell door. Every time a guard walked past, the shadow broke that light for just a second. He counted 1, 2, 3, 40 seconds between each patrol, too long for a high-security prison. He shifted slightly, letting his fingers brush against the utensil he'd hidden under his leg. The smooth metal felt cold, but ready. His gaze slid to the dark panel in the corner. His way out. Hours passed. The faint green light in the cell flickered once, then steadied again. The soldier took a slow breath. They don't even notice it. But I do. The flicker meant something, some kind of power fluctuation. This was the moment he had been waiting for. When the next patrol passed, he waited until the sound of footsteps faded. Then he moved. Quiet as shadow, he crouched by the panel and slid the utensil into the gap. The metal gave way faster than before, loosening with a soft creak. He froze, listening, got nothing. He pulled again. The panel shifted enough for him to see darkness beyond. A narrow space barely wide enough for him to squeeze through, lined with thick cables that pulsed faintly with blue light. He was just about to push it further, when a sound made him freeze. A guard was approaching. He shoved the panel back into place and slid across the floor, settling back into his corner as if nothing had happened. The door opened, and the tall alien stepped in with a tray of food. "You have not eaten since yesterday," the guard said. His voice was deeper than most, his tone irritated. "Not hungry," the soldier replied calmly. "You need strength," the alien said, setting the tray down. "Tomorrow will be long." The soldier looked up at him. "Why? What's tomorrow?" The guard gave a slow smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Transfer day. The commander is looking forward to it." The soldier let a small, almost amused breath escape. "I'm sure he is." When the guard left, the soldier didn't touch the food. Instead, he picked up the utensil again and stared at it. The timing had to be perfect. If he moved too soon, he'd be caught. Too late, and he'd be gone before finishing what he started. He lay back against the wall, closing his eyes, counting the patrol steps again. The pattern was still off 40 seconds between guards. He could work with that dot. When the next chance came, he moved faster. The panel slid out with a quiet scrape, revealing the narrow crawl space. The air inside was cooler, the smell faintly metallic. He glanced at the door one last time, then slipped the utensil into his pocket and crawled inside. The space was tight, forcing him to move slowly. Thick black cables ran along both sides, humming with power. The floor beneath him was grated metal, and below it, he could see dim lights flickering from another level of the prison. He moved for several meters before stopping. Voices, muffled but close. He pressed himself against the wall, listening. The words were in the alien tongue, but he understood pieces: transfer, commander, specimen. They were talking about him. The voices faded, replaced by the distant thud of boots. The soldier kept crawling until he reached a junction where the tunnel split in two. To the left, he could see a faint red glow. To the right, darkness. He chose darkness. After a few meters, the tunnel opened into a vent. He could see through the thin slits into a hallway below. A lone guard stood near a door, his weapon slung lazily over his shoulder. The soldier studied the door. It was different from the others, heavy, reinforced. Something important was behind it. He stayed in the vent, watching. The guard yawned, then turned away. The soldier's mind ran through possibilities. He could take him out quietly, but that would risk alerting others. No, not yet. He needed information first. He crawled back toward his cell, counting turns, memorizing distances. This wasn't the time to escape fully. This was the time to learn the prison's map. By the time he returned to the loose panel, he had a mental image of at least part of the layout. He slid the panel back into place and sat in the corner again, just as footsteps approached. The door opened, and this time it wasn't a guard. It was the commander. The tall alien stepped in, his coat flowing behind him. "You seem restless," he said, his tone sharp. The soldier kept his face blank. "It's a little hard to sleep." In a cage, the commander stepped closer. "You should save your strength. Tomorrow will be educational." "For you, maybe," the soldier replied softly. The commander's eyes narrowed. "Your kind always believes it is in control. That belief will break." The soldier met his gaze without flinching. "Or maybe it will hold." They stared at each other for a long moment before the commander turned to leave. When the door sealed shut again, the soldier allowed himself the smallest grin. "Let them think I'm caged. The more they believe it, the easier it will be. somewhere. In the darkness of the crawl space, his first real step toward freedom had begun. Tomorrow might be transfer day for them. For him, it would be something else entirely. Asterisk. A green light in the cell flickered again, faint but noticeable. The soldier sat cross-legged on the floor, his head slightly lowered, eyes half closed. To anyone watching, he looked tired, maybe even defeated. That was exactly what he wanted. Them to see. The sound of boots echoed in the hallway. The cell door opened, and 2 guards stepped inside. They carried no food tray this time, only the long shadow of authority. One guard gestured for him to stand. "The commander wants you," the guard said. The soldier pushed himself up slowly, moving with the stiff motions of a man worn down. He let his shoulders sag, his breathing heavy. It was a performance, and the audience didn't even know they were watching a play. They marched him through the metallic corridors. Every step echoed, the sound sharp and hollow. The air smelled faintly of ozone, and the cold seeped through his torn uniform. They passed several locked doors, and the soldier's eyes flicked toward each one, memorizing their locations. 2 turns later, they entered a wide room lined with strange machines. The walls glowed faintly with alien symbols, and in the center stood the commander. The tall alien looked up from a table covered in strange metallic tools. His dark eyes scanned the soldier from head to toe. "You look weaker," the commander said. "Perhaps your human body is not as strong as you pretend." The soldier shrugged. "Maybe, or maybe I'm just tired of the view." The commander's lips curled slightly. "You think words will protect you?" "They've done a decent job so far," the soldier replied. The commander gestured to the table. "Do you know what these are?" The soldier glanced at the tools. "Knives? Scalpels? Or just something to make the next few hours unpleasant?" The alien chuckled. "You are clever. That will make this more interesting." The guards stepped back while the commander walked around the soldier slowly, like a predator circling prey. "You humans are strange," the commander said. "When you are in control, you are loud. When you are trapped, you grow silent. Is it fear?" The soldier met his gaze. "Sometimes silence is the loudest answer." The commander studied him for a moment. "Tomorrow, you will be moved to the research facility. There, your silence will be broken." The soldier tilted his head. "And what if I break something first?" One of the guards stepped forward aggressively, but the commander raised a hand to stop him. "I like your spirit," the alien said. "It will make your fall harder." The interrogation didn't last long. The commander seemed more interested in watching him than questioning him. Every reaction or lack of reaction was a clue. The soldier gave away nothing but what he wanted them to see: fatigue, slowness, vulnerability. When they marched him back to the cell, he stumbled slightly in the hallway. One guard muttered in their language, calling him weak. The soldier caught the word but didn't react. Inside the cell again, he sat down slowly, rubbing his arm as if sore. But his mind was alive, calculating. That night, when the usual patrol passed, he stayed perfectly still, no testing the panel, no sudden movements. He wanted the guards to grow bored of watching him. A few hours later, voices drifted from outside the door. The soldier listened carefully. "Transfer at first light," one guard said. "No trouble from him." The other replied. The soldier smiled faintly in the darkness. "Good. Keep thinking that." The next day, the commander returned with a small device in his hand. It looked like a wristband made of black metal. "This will monitor you," the commander said. "It will also stop you if you try to run." The soldier looked at it and then back at the alien. "What's the range?" The commander frowned. "Slightly. Range? If it stops me from running, how far can I go before it kicks in?" The soldier asked, his tone casual. The commander's eyes narrowed. "Far enough, and that is all you need to know." The soldier gave a small shrug, as if the answer didn't matter, but in his head, He stored the reaction. The alien had hesitated, meaning there was a limit. For the rest of the day, he kept his movements slow, his tone quiet, his face unreadable. He even pretended to struggle when lifting the food tray, making it look like his strength was fading. By evening, the guards didn't bother checking the panel anymore. They no longer stood as close to the door. Exactly what he wanted. That night, the soldier lay on the cold floor, staring at the ceiling. He whispered to himself, barely audible, "Almost there." In the hallway, a guard walked by without even glancing inside. The soldier closed his eyes and let the moment sink in. The trap was working. Tomorrow they would take him out of this cell for the last time. And they wouldn't even see it coming. The cell door slid open with a sharp hiss. 2 guards stood there, their tall shadows stretching across the floor. "It's time," one of them said. The soldier stood slowly, keeping the same tired posture he had shown for days. He let his shoulders slump and his eyes look dull. The act had worked this long, no reason to drop it now. They fastened the black metal wristband onto his arm. The surface was smooth and cold, glowing faintly with blue lines. "It will shock you if you try to resist," the guard said. "Good to know," the soldier replied, his voice flat. They marched him into the hallway. The air here was colder, and the faint vibration of the ship or the prison moved through the floor into his boots. As they walked, the soldier counted his steps. He passed the first corner. 12 steps. A security camera on the left wall. The next corner. 16 steps. A door with a reinforced frame, probably the one he had seen through the vent days earlier. His mind was mapping every turn, every landmark. They reached a loading area where the walls curved inward, forming a tunnel. A small transport vehicle waited ahead, its back doors open. 2 more guards stood near it, talking quietly. The soldier's escort pushed him forward. The moment his boots hit the ramp, he stumbled, deliberately crashing into one guard's side. "Watch it, human." The guard barked. "Sorry," the soldier muttered, but his hand brushed against the guard's belt for just a second, long enough to feel the smooth handle of a small alien tool. When the guard shoved him upright, the soldier's fingers were already curling around the stolen device, hiding it in his palm. They shoved him into the back of the vehicle and sealed the doors. Inside, there was no seat, just metal walls and the faint hum of the engine starting up. The 2 guards who had escorted him climbed in as well. Standing watch. The vehicle moved, vibrating softly as it traveled down the tunnel. The soldier leaned back against the wall, his eyes on the floor, his fingers slowly turning the tool in his palm. It was shaped like a short rod, one end capped with a triangular tip. He didn't know exactly what it was, but the metal felt solid, and that was enough. Minutes passed. The guards were relaxed, not expecting trouble. One of them even leaned against the wall with his weapon hanging loose at his side. The soldier spoke quietly. "How far is this research place?" The guard glanced at him but didn't answer. "Just wondering," the soldier said. "I like to know where I'm going before I die." The guard snorted. "You will not die. Not yet." "That's comforting," the soldier replied dryly. The vehicle slowed. A faint mechanical hiss echoed from the front, an airlock opening. Soldier's heartbeat steadied. It was time. In one motion, he dropped low and swung the alien tool hard against the wristband. The impact sent a small spark through the air, and the blue glow flickered once before going dark. The guards reacted instantly, shouting in their language. One reached for his weapon, but the soldier lunged forward, driving his shoulder into the guard's midsection. The alien stumbled back, hitting the wall. The second guard raised his weapon, but the soldier twisted the tool in his hand and slammed it into the weapon's barrel. A crack of energy sparked, and the weapon fell dead in the alien's grip. Vehicle shook as it came to a sudden stop. The doors hissed open, and another guard outside froze at the sight of chaos inside. The soldier didn't hesitate. He grabbed the nearest alien by the collar and pulled him forward. Using him as a shield, "Drop it," he ordered. His voice sharp. The outside guard hesitated, then slowly lowered his weapon. The soldier shoved his shield toward him and bolted. Out the doors. The air outside was colder still, and the corridor ahead was wide, lined with pipes that hissed with steam. Alarms had not gone off yet. He still had seconds before the prison knew. He sprinted down the hallway, his boots pounding against the metal. The stolen tool was still in his hand, and he kept his eyes moving, searching for anything that could open another door, another path. He turned a corner and stopped. The commander stood at the far end of the hall, no guards. No weapons in his hands. Just standing there, blocking the way, his black coat hanging still in the cold air. "You move faster than I expected," the commander said calmly. The soldier tightened his grip on the tool. "You let them get sloppy. That's on you." The commander's eyes glinted. "Do you think you can get out of here alive?" "I'm already halfway there," the soldier replied. The alien smiled faintly. "Halfway is not the end." They stared at each other for a long second before the soldier made his move. He feinted left, then sprinted right, aiming for a side door. The commander's hand shot out, grabbing his arm, but the soldier twisted, driving the tool into the alien's wrist. The commander let out a sharp hiss of pain, and the soldier broke free, slamming his hand against the side door's control panel. It slid open, revealing a narrow maintenance tunnel. Without looking back, he slipped inside. The tunnel was dark, lit only by faint red emergency strips along the floor. He could hear footsteps behind him, slow but steady. The commander wasn't chasing. He was following, confident the human couldn't escape. The soldier kept running until he reached a ladder. He climbed quickly, his breath sharp in the cold air. Above him, a hatch waited. He pushed it open and emerged into a dimly lit hangar. Several small alien ships rested in docking clamps. The air smelled of fuel and metal. His heart pounded. This was it. If he could get to one of those ships, he was gone. But before he could take a step, a voice came from behind him. "You are clever," the commander said, stepping out of the shadows. "But cleverness will not save you forever." The soldier turned slowly. "It only needs to save me once." The commander's eyes narrowed, but he didn't move. The two of them stood there, the hangar silent except for the low hum of the ship's. Then, without warning, the soldier ran not for the nearest ship, but for the control station on the far wall. If he couldn't escape yet, he could still make sure. Leaving wouldn't be easy for anyone. He slammed his hand onto the panel, pulling levers and hitting switches. Sirens blared instantly, red lights flooding the hangar. Docking clamps released, and the nearest ship's engines began to power up on their own. The commander stepped forward sharply. "What have you done?" The soldier gave him a faint smile, started a countdown, and then he ran straight into the chaos he had just created. The hangar was filled with flashing red lights and the loud wail of alarms. The soldier's heart hammered in his chest as the engines of the nearest ship roared to life. "Not bad," the commander said from the shadows, his voice calm but dangerous. "You've made quite a mess." The soldier didn't answer. Instead, he darted between the docking clamps, moving quickly but carefully. His eyes scanned the area for a ship that could fly. Behind him, heavy footsteps echoed. The commander was close. "You cannot hide," the alien said, stepping into the light. "Give up, human." "Why should I?" the soldier replied, breath ragged. "You lost control the moment you caught me." The commander's expression darkened. He lunged forward, but the soldier ducked and rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the grasp. They circled each other like two predators. The hangar felt like a cage, but the soldier knew every inch of it now. He spotted a small shuttle with its cockpit open. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward it. The commander rushed after him. The soldier reached the cockpit and slammed the door shut behind him. The alien pounded on the hull, shouting orders. With shaking hands, the soldier flipped switches and pushed buttons. The ship's engines hummed and then roared louder. "Come on," he muttered. The ship lifted off the docking clamp, trembling as it rose. The commander watched, fury burning in his eyes. As the shuttle began moving toward the hangar exit, a burst of energy struck its side, causing it to shake violently. The soldier gritted his teeth. Not today. He pushed the throttle forward, navigating the ship through the hangar's exit. Outside, stars stretched across the black sky. Freedom was just ahead, but the commander's voice echoed through the shuttle's speakers, cold and calm. "You may have escaped the cell," he said. "But you will never escape me," the soldier smiled grimly. "We'll see about that." The shuttle trembled as it sped through the endless black of space. The soldier's hands gripped the controls tightly, sweat slipping down his temple. The stars outside were cold and distant, but they promised freedom if he could survive. Just a little longer. Behind him, the silent shadow of the command ship loomed larger, its engines glowing with deadly intent. The commander's voice crackled through the shuttle's comm system, calm and mocking. "You run, human, but you cannot hide. Your escape only delays the inevitable." The soldier didn't answer. Instead, he focused on the console, searching for a route. The star maps were strange and confusing, but he trusted his instincts more than the blinking lights. Ahead, a cluster of asteroids drifted slowly, jagged rocks floating in the dark. He veered toward them, hoping to use the chaos to his advantage. The command ship followed, firing pulses of energy that tore through the empty space behind him. The shuttle shook violently with each hit. "Hold on," the soldier muttered, dodging between the asteroids, weaving in and out with practiced skill. The commander's voice grew sharper, anger breaking through the calm. "You cannot lose me." The soldier's fingers moved quickly, activating the shuttle's limited defense system. A burst of energy flared, creating a shield around the ship that absorbed one of the attacks. Suddenly, the shuttle's alarm screamed, "Warning, engine overheating." The ship's voice said flatly. The soldier cursed under his breath. The small ship was not made for long fights. Every second spent dodging drains power faster. He looked back at the command ship, now dangerously close. The commander's face appeared on the comm screen, eyes burning with fury. "You will surrender," he said, "or die." The soldier smiled grimly. "You'll have to catch me first." The shuttle rocked violently as another blast hit. The controls began to fail one by one. The engine sputtered, threatening to cut out. With no other choice, the soldier aimed for a narrow gap between two massive asteroids, hoping to shake his pursuer. The command ship followed, but a sudden explosion rocked the asteroid belt. A large rock shattered, sending debris flying. The soldier's shuttle was caught in the blast, tumbling through space. Alarms blared as systems failed one after another. He fought to steady the ship, fingers shaking as he worked to regain control. Commander's voice came again, cold and steady. "You are finished." The soldier's breath caught, but he didn't give up. With the last of his strength, he flipped a switch that sent a burst of electromagnetic energy out into space. The command ship shuddered, lights flickering. The commander hissed in frustration. As systems glitched, the shuttle's engines groaned back to life. Using the moment, the soldier pushed the throttle forward, racing through the broken asteroid field. His body ached, but hope flared inside him. "Not yet," he whispered behind him. The command ship struggled to recover, slowed by the damage. The soldier looked ahead at the endless stars, knowing this was only the beginning. The shuttle shook violently, but the soldier gripped the controls tighter. Ahead, the distant glow of a space station appeared, a faint beacon in the vast dark. He knew the commander's ship was still behind him, hunting relentlessly. "Almost there," the soldier whispered, his breath steady despite the pounding in his chest. On the comm system, the commander's cold voice crackled. You think that station will save you? No one there will help a human. The soldier's eyes narrowed. Maybe not, but I'll take my chances. He guided the shuttle toward the station's docking bay, scanning for any sign of life or defense. The station was old, its metal hull scarred from years in space. The docking bay doors slid open slowly. As the shuttle approached, inside, lights flickered uncertainly. The soldier's heart skipped when the alarm sounded again, a warning of low power. "Come on," he muttered as he touched down. The shuttle's engines powered down, and the hum of the station filled the silence. The soldier took a deep breath and prepared to step out. Inside the station, the air was thick and stale. Shadows stretched along the corridors, broken only by flickering emergency lights. The soldier moved cautiously, every step echoing. He paused at a control panel, tapping into the station systems. To his relief, some of the defenses were still active. He quickly sent out a silent distress signal, hoping anyone would respond. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed behind him. He spun around, weapon drawn. A figure stepped out of the shadows. It was not an alien, but a human. "Who are you?" the stranger asked, voice low and wary. "Someone running from a commander," the soldier replied. "I need help." The stranger studied him for a moment, then nodded. "You're lucky. This station is a ghost town, but I've stayed to keep it running. I can help you, but the commander will come." They moved quickly through the station, the stranger showing the soldier hidden rooms and secret systems. Together, they worked to restore power and boost the station's defenses. "Why do you fight so hard?" the stranger asked. "Because giving up means death," the soldier said simply. The stranger nodded, respect in her eyes. Suddenly, alarms blared louder. The commander's ship had arrived, docking at the station's far end. "Time is short," the stranger said. "We have to prepare." The soldier checked his weapon and looked at the stranger. "We fight," he said. The commander appeared through the station's main corridor, his presence filling the space with cold menace. "You cannot hide here," he said. "Give up now," the soldier stepped forward. "I'm not giving up. Not now, not ever." The commander smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Then prepare to lose." The fight was brutal. The station shook as energy weapons fired and metal clashed. The soldier and the stranger moved as one, using the station's narrow halls to their advantage. At a critical moment, the soldier managed to disable the commander's armor with a precise strike. The alien stumbled, surprised. Seizing the chance, the soldier tackled the commander, knocking him to the floor. "You lose," the soldier said, breath heavy. The commander looked up, eyes burning with rage and respect. "Perhaps. This is not the end." The battle over, the soldier and the stranger stood amid the silence. "Thank you," the soldier said quietly. The stranger smiled. "Welcome to the fight." Outside, the stars shone brighter, a new hope rising.